Hello, I'm Josiah Milky. Can you believe it's our last day of Pixar movie reviews? That seems really sad, huh? But we're happy to end on a high note. We've had 20 Pixar movies up to this point, from Toy Story through Incredibles 2. But I don't think anyone expected the latest Disney Pixar movie. Disney Pixar movie number 21, Toy Story 4. I know what you're thinking. A lot of us probably had this reaction when we first heard about it, myself included. I remember it was nearly a month prior to the Christmas special, Toy Story That Time Forgot, premiering on ABC, when it was officially announced they were doing Toy Story 4. And my first reaction, and probably the first reaction for a lot of people, was, wait a minute, Toy Story 4? Why do we need Toy Story 4? We already had a perfect ending with Toy Story 3, and they're continuing it just fine with shorts and TV specials. What do we need a fourth movie for? But it's true, we were getting a fourth Toy Story. What was supposed to just be a joke by Gonzo in the opening song of Muppets Most Wanted, which came out earlier in 2014, no longer was a joke when they announced Toy Story 4. Originally scheduled for summer 2017, Cars 3 took Toy Story 4's place, pushing it back a year to summer 2018. Then it ended up swapping release dates when Incredibles 2 proved to be farther along in production. Toy Story 4 opened this year on June 21st, 2019, and believe it or not, it actually ended up doing even better at the box office than I thought. Like Toy Story 3, Finding Dory, and Incredibles 2, Toy Story 4 was a $1 billion grossing hit at the worldwide box office. Matter of fact, it's just barely inched past Toy Story 3, and is now the second highest grossing Pixar movie of all time worldwide, only behind Incredibles 2. And it's probably going to stay that way since Toy Story 4 just came out on Blu-ray last month. Toy Story 4 also got extremely positive critical reception, 97% to the third film's 98, and the perfect 100 that each of the first two films got. It's too soon to know if we'll get any Oscar nominations at this point, but Toy Story 4 has been nominated for a couple of People's Choice Awards. That award ceremony will be this coming Sunday, November 10th, 2019. Like I said, I was really nervous at first when I heard they were doing Toy Story 4, but then I saw trailers and merchandise and stuff, and started to get more hope. I saw it with my dad and my two sisters on the day after it opened at the Palms IMAX Theater here in Johnston, in Iowa. And then I took my mom to see it at the AMC Theater here in Johnston early July. Toy Story 4 ended up being a surprise hit, I think, for the whole family. It actually continued the story really, really well. While Toy Story 3 was the end of Woody's time with Andy, Toy Story 4 became the end of Woody's story as a character, and how he learned to grow and mature beyond just getting played with by a kid. So here's the story of Toy Story 4. We learned that 9 years ago, meaning 9 years before Toy Story 3, not 9 years going back to when Toy Story 3 came out, that Woody's girlfriend, Bo Peep, who was part of a lamp decoration for Andy's little sister Molly, we learned that Bo was given away when Molly stopped needing her. And then we get a montage of Andy playing with Woody and the gang, leading up to the moment in Toy Story 3 where he gave them away to Bonnie. Though Bonnie enjoys playing with everyone, after a while Woody gets sidelined and left in the closet while Bonnie plays with the rest of the gang. Still, Woody feels a need to connect with his kid, so he sneaks into her backpack when she goes to kindergarten orientation, against her parents' wishes, and provides her with craft supplies to make Forky, a spork made from different craft supplies that, thanks to Bonnie's imagination, Forky is labeled a toy. But Forky doesn't want to be a toy and keeps trying to throw himself in the trash, which makes him a burden for Woody to carry during Bonnie's family road trip, during which almost all the toys, including Forky, come along for the ride. Woody and Forky are eventually left behind by the group when Forky jumps out the window to avoid being played with, and Woody has to go after him. Fortunately, Woody manages to convince Forky that being a toy is the greatest thing, right before the half-hour mark. However, before they can reunite with Bonnie and the gang at the RV park, they come across an antique store where Woody finds Bo's lamp in the store window. Woody and Forky sneak in to find Bo, but instead they meet a pull-string doll named Gabby Gabby, and her ventriloquist dummy henchmen. Gabby discovers that Woody has a voice box like hers, except his works, hers doesn't. Gabby attempts to steal Woody's voice box, but he escapes, accidentally leaving Forky behind. The following morning, Woody is unexpectedly reunited with Bo Peep, and they team up to save Forky from Gabby, while at the same time, Buzz goes out looking for Woody and meets a pair of Carnival Game plush toy prizes named Ducky and Bunny, who he ends up inadvertently bringing along on the trip. There's also Officer Diggle McDimples, a friend of Bo's who is the smallest toy in the Toy Story gang, and Duke Kaboom, a Canadian motorcycle-riding stunt toy who is my personal favorite new character in the film. Ducky and Bunny are second and third. Instantly, I'm drawn in by Toy Story 4 by the characters. Original voice cast comes back. Tom Hanks, Tim Allen, Joan Cusack, Annie Potts. Pretty much everybody we know. Heck, they even got Don Rickles back to voice Mr. Potato Head via archived recordings due to Don's passing 2 years earlier. I'm really happy Bo Peep is back, and I'm also really happy that Annie Potts came back to voice her after 20 years, because last time Bo had a speaking appearance was nearly 20 years ago on Toy Story 2. And I'm really happy that she's no longer just a satellite love interest, but she's developed into a full-fledged action girl. Girl power for those who have been watching some of the Disney films with action girls in the last few years, like Frozen and Moana. I also really love the new characters. Forky I'm still kind of mixed on, but Ducky and Bunny, voiced by the incredibly funny Keegan-Michael Key and Jordan Peele, they steal the show with their hijinks. But the highlight for me is Keanu Reeves as Duke Kaboom. I had actually heard of Keanu Reeves before this, but I'd never actually seen him in anything up till this point. Duke Kaboom is a fantastic character, and I honestly hope Pixar does short films with him. You've also got Tony Hale as Forky, Ali Maki as Giggle, and Christina Hendricks as Gabby, who's rather mixed as a villain. Even though she wants Woody's voice box, and that makes her the villain, because her dummies kidnap Forky, she also, spoiler alert, ends up being a surprise hero because Woody actually is able to emote with her, because it turns out they have similarities where they feel neglected and want to be loved. Respectively, the only characters they had to recast were... Actually, they bring back not only characters from the movies, but they also bring back a few characters from Toy Story of Terror. Combat Carl, and in Bonnie's Closet, Old Timer. Carl Weathers returns to voice Combat Carl, while Old Timer is voiced by someone different than who voiced him in Toy Story of Terror. Other than Old Timer, the only characters they had to recast, of course, were Bonnie and Young Andy, since their voice actors from Toy Story 3 are all grown up now. But the new actors do a good job. Also, the animation has definitely improved in the 9 years since Toy Story 3. As big a leap as the animation on Toy Story 3 was from the first two films, this one was as big a leap again. Especially with the carnival setting, and also when they're in the antique store and have to avoid the store cat, you can see the cat has realistic fur on his body, especially when you compare him to Scud the dog from the first movie. I was a little nervous at first when I heard that John Lasseter was stepping down as director, and Josh Cooley, a story artist at Pixar who had been story supervisor on Inside Out and directed 2 shorts, George and AJ, based on Up, and Riley's First Date, based on Inside Out. Toy Story 4 was going to be Josh's feature film directing debut, but I have to say he did a really good job. I also love, once again, the Randy Newman music. Along with bringing back You've Got a Friend in Me, he's also got 2 new songs. I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away when they start the road trip, and a song that Randy wrote and Chris Stapleton sang for the end credits, The Ballad of the Lonesome Cowboy. Some other highlights include... honestly, it's hard to say all my praises on this movie. For adults, there's a quartet of comedy legends voicing a group of preschool toys in Bonnie's Closet. They're voiced by Mel Brooks, Carol Burnett, Betty White, and Carl Reiner. So see if you can recognize who voices who in the closet. Honestly, my only problem with Toy Story 4 is that I feel like the ending, where, spoiler alert, Woody has to choose between going back to Bonnie, where he might not be played with anymore, or staying with Bo and making a life for himself on the road with the carnival. I feel like maybe the ending got a little rushed, But honestly, that's just one little nitpick when the rest of the movie is fantastic. I still think Toy Story 3 is the best Toy Story movie ever, but Toy Story 4 comes a really, really close second. On my ranking of all the Pixar movies, Toy Story 4 is currently number 4 for me, between Cars 3 at number 5 and Inside Out at number 3. So that's my thoughts on Toy Story 4. Let me know what you think of Toy Story 4. Where are you at on it? Also, let me know what your ranking of all the Pixar movies is, if you ever get the chance. And thanks so much. I've really enjoyed this series. I hope you keep watching Disney and Disney Pixar movies. I'm Josiah Milky, and thanks for watching.